Yeah, what the heck? Like I said, it probably wasn't. I think
I'll call the Finance Committee together for the July 29th regular committee meeting. Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Okay, we have quorum. First item is to motion to approve minutes of prior committee meetings. Supervisor Bruno, Supervisor Driscoll, discussion. Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action agenda request for transfer of funds as attached for committee approval. Motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Thomas, second by Supervisor Runyon. Any discussion on these? Okay. Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 is requests to be discussed by the county administrator. Ryan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2A is the journal report, if anybody has questions on any of those transfers. Hearing none. 2B is a request to amend the budget to, this goes along with the CSEA $2.75. This will put the funding in place so that the treasurer's office can adjust the payroll and pay these people out on time. The adjustment goes into effect August 1st. And that's thankfully the beginning of a pay period, so we got a little bit of time to get it done. But the 2B is for the piece of it that's supported by outside revenue, and 2C is the remainder that we will need from the general fund.
So for
Fund
clarification,
balance, I should say.
yeah, 2B, these are all positions that have external funding associated with it.
Right, and that's, the 75% reimbursement in DSS, the et cetera, 36% for public health.
And 2C is,
2C is the remainder that does not have outside revenue that we needs to be pulled from the various fund balances.
okay, and we determined that county road and machinery is the best place for these.
Those represent positions that are paid out of that fund, so we pull out of that fund balance, and then the road fund, the machinery fund, and then the general fund for those that are located in the general fund. At the end of the year, we take the fund balances for the road and machinery fund and knock it down to 5% of the expenditure, and the rest gets returned to the general fund.
Okay, so everybody clear on that? Can we bring a motion for B and C to the floor, please? Thank you, Supervisor Merlino, second by Supervisor Runyon. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. D and E are also related. These are follow-on resolutions from the ARPA committee. The ARPA committee last week recommended, I should say, the allocation of $4 million to DPW projects, 3.5 of which would go to emergency culvert repairs, and the remaining $500,000 for buildings, most notably the remediation of the old jail. That resolution authorizing the expenditure of those dollars and amending the budget will be on for the August meeting, August 19th. That resolution is the trigger here. If that resolution wouldn't pass, then these resolutions are contingent on passage of that one. All these two resolutions do is set up the capital funds that we would appropriate the monies into in order for Kevin to be able to spend the money.
Excuse me, just back that up. So that other resolution.
Yeah, so there's a couple of pieces. ARPA recommended allocating the $4 million. Then the budget has to be amended for that $4 million. Those are together on the same resolution. And then on the side, you need to create the capital funds to put that money into. So that's what this is here. It's ministerial.
Thank you.
Are you moving D and E without objections? Yep. And Supervisor Driscoll on a second on that. So we're clear that these are setting up the funds as a place to put the money when it is appropriated by further resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Motion carries.
And there's one item that came out of personnel just now, and that's to move $5,000 out of the county administrator's salary code into 470 contracts for the headhunting services.
Motion to bring it to the floor, Supervisor Thomas, second by Supervisor Bruno. Discussion. Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Motion carries.
Thank you. That completes my agenda.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Going to miss you presenting those agendas.
Thank you.
Number 3, referrals from the County Facilities Committee, chaired by Supervisor Bruno. A is a request for appropriations of funds for the amount of $4,500 from the airport reserve repair projects. Motion bring it to the floor. Supervisor Runyon on the first, Supervisor Thomas on the second. Discussion. Supervisor Bruno, anything to discuss on this?
No, not necessarily. This is really a necessary upgrade, modernize that system and allow it to be more automated, if you will. So it's a good thing.
Okay. Further discussion? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Motion carries. 3B, request for transfer of funds in the amount of $29,997 from the contingent account to the budget code for airport contract in order to facilitate tree trimming and removal from airport property. Motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Bruno, second by Supervisor Runyon. Discussion. Supervisor Bruno?
Yeah, this is required by the FAA after their review of the airport, et cetera, to provide safe, clear zone, et cetera, for the aircraft. And this is something that they'll look at periodically, probably annually, to see, you got to check the height of the trees and whatnot, potential obstructions for aircraft. So it's a necessity.
Okay, thank you. For the committee's context here, contingent account at this point in time has a balance of $175,138 in it. And you'll see there's other requests from contingent account here today as well. Just a question, why contingent account? Was there nothing else from the airport budget? Anybody answer that? Any further discussion? Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries on 3B. Number 4, referral from the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee. This is a request from the Sheriff's Office to amend the county budget in the amount of $1,200 for receipt of revenues from the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee on Child Passenger Safety Program. Supervisor Molino and Supervisor Driscoll on the second. Discussion. Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Motion carries. Number 5, referrals from the Public Works Committee. 5A is a request to increase capital project H394 Olmsted Road reconstruction in the amount of $4,604,148 to add construction and construction inspection funding. Motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Molino and Supervisor Thomas on the second. Discussion. And if you'll see in your packet, it looks like the county share of all of that is $230,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. We fund the whole budget in anticipation of getting those other revenues. Is that correct? Thank you. Any questions or discussion on 5A? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. 5B is a request to amend the Warren County budget in the amount of $2.70 to account for local match for various capital projects. Supervisor Moreno, Supervisor Runyon, discussion. Well then, let's go to a vote on it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would just like to note, this is how thorough our treasurer's office is on things and why we have such a good rating with our bond agencies and such as well. You know, it's right down to it. Yeah. Parks, Recreation and Railroad. 5C is a request to amend the county budget to the amount of $160 to reflect receipt of donations. And if we can do B, to amend the county budget in the amount of $1,600 to reflect the receipt of donations from stewards. Thank Supervisor Bruno moves 5C and D. Is there a second? Supervisor Thomas, thank you. Discussion? Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries for 5C and D. 6. Items to be discussed by clerk of the board, Amanda Allen. Go ahead.
All right, we're looking for a transfer of funds for $9,746 from the contingent account to the legislative board budget to pay the balance needed to cover an invoice from the Hudson River Black River Regulating District. We had $242,878 budgeted for 2022, and the total bill was $9,746 higher.
Okay, motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Molino, second by Supervisor Bruno. Discussion. And if I may bring up a discussion, is this the last year's payment to the Hudson Black River District?
I'm not sure. I think so, but I'm not sure. I know that because I don't know whether that legislation is actually passed yet.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
So
Yes.
excuse me, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we just estimated this amount that was budgeted, is that the two?
Carry the amount forward from last year, what the bill was. We don't know what the actual bill is going to be until we get it. So we usually just roll forward the amount from year to year, and then if we need more money, we have to come and ask for it.
Reasonable, thank you.
Actual expenses are apportioned out to beneficiaries, of which we are one, and that's what's the piece that the state is in the process of changing, because a lot more than just 5 counties benefit from this district.
Thank you.
And the treasurer provided an interesting fun fact that we used to get paid by this district.
Now we're paying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
It was FERC, if I recall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, yes. Go ahead. Yes.
The 6B is a request to approve the Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board budget as provided in your packet, and part of the 5-county here on this says that everyone has to approve budget, so it's there for you to look at.
Motion to bring it to the floor. Thank you, Supervisor Bruno. In a second. Supervisor Thomas, thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I must say that over the past several years, the Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board has done an incredible amount of work for the county and our region. So, yeah. Okay, 7, these are Finance Committee actions required on the following personnel agenda items. So personnel agenda items 3A through C, 4, and 5. Let's start here. 3A, referrals from the Criminal Justice Public Safety Committee. Probation. Request to amend Resolution 265 of 2022, increase the salary of administrative secretary position from a base of $44,913 to $48,366. grade 8, step 3, to reflect the experience level of the employee position. Motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Runyon, second by Supervisor Driscoll. Discussion. Hearing none, call, oh, sorry, the Supervisor
So-
Bruno.
So this employee started in June 27. Grade 8, step 3, that's a progression in that grade.
Yes.
In other words, this is not necessarily creating anything different, it's just putting them in that slot. if you will.
I take that to be so. The Supervisor Drossy.
Yeah, he's on the Zoom if you need it. I
Yeah.
guess.
Supervisor Drossy, I don't know if you heard the question from Supervisor Bruno. Okay, we'll take it that he didn't. So I believe that's the case. They came with experience and were deserving of that step.
Okay.
Okay. I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries for 3A. 3B, Public Defender is a request to amend table of organization. Salary scheduled to decrease the salary of the 8th Assistant Public Defender from 74,089 to 71,988, effective in August 2022, and to fill the position at a lower salary. To the floor, Supervisor Bruno, Supervisor Runyon on the second. Discussion? Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3C from the Sheriff's Office, request to amend the table of organization and salary schedule to create and fill new positions of patrol officer 71, 72, and 73, each at the base salary of 45,854. Motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Runyon, and a second by Supervisor Molino. Discussion? Treasurer Swan.
I'm just curious if there needs to be a source of funding for this. I haven't seen anything on it. I don't know whether the sheriff has money in his budget to cover it, because we're talking half of it would be about $100,000 between now and the end of the year. Right. So I don't, is there a source of funding, I guess?
Yeah, I'll look over here at the county administrator to know if there's any discussion on that.
I am looking at the request forms in the personnel packet to request these positions. And says, where are the funds in the budget for this position? They say in the law enforcement section, salaries 110. I thought we had a checkbox here that asked whether it was required, whether a budget amendment was required. Right? Maybe they used an old form.
While you're looking at that, Mr. Treasurer, from your deputies' budget reports that came out earlier this week, looked at some things, and of course, there's little overtime overruns on things, but it seemed to be that in the sheriff's, maybe I was just looking at correction. So regular salaries were at 43% at this point in time. And if we filling these positions, there's got to be a lag time too. Is there a discussion in committee about that, on how long it will take to fill these? Because these are regular patrol, right?
Well, I'm just bringing it up because it's 3 brand new positions, and if we need to come up with a source of funding, it would help to have it as part of the resolution.
Yeah, they used the old form. Larry may have something on this.
This will go to the August 19th meeting, correct?
Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, so I mean, between now and then, we can figure out. So, I would say you can approve this and the need for funding.
Sure. Good point. Supervisor, Chairman,
I thought he talked about taking it out as point ones. At the
committee, any thought, you had some senior people retiring, that maybe some left in some of his going ones that he had. I remember the discussion about.
Supervisor Thomas?
Yeah, I believe that is probably the intent. I think that even if he brings people that are currently patrol officers and puts them in place right now, there's still going to be 3 vacancies, and it's going to take, probably a few months to actually fill this. And, at least for the rest of this year, it probably shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
That's fine, I'm good with that, I just raised the question because there wasn't anything associated with it here. That's fine.
I'll do 2 things to follow up. I'll remind all the departments to use the new form, the new and improved form, and where it indicates whether you need a budget transfer, and I will reach out to the sheriff. I'll copy the treasurer, and we'll work out what they need for this year and whether it needs to be transferred.
Thank you. And Mr. Treasurer, you had mentioned something as the resolution with an addition. What was that?
I think there's plenty of time between now and then to amend it if we need to.
Okay.
Wait and see what the sheriff has to say.
I'll call the question then, unless there's any other discussion from the board or the committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Referrals from Human Service. We have Department of Social Services. Here, a request to amend the table of organization and salary schedule to create and fill the new position of Principal Account Clerk, number 4, grade 10, base annual salary of $40,784, and delete the position of Senior Account Clerk, grade 7, base annual salary of $36,414, effective August 22, 2022. Motion to bring it to the floor, please. Supervisor Runyon, Supervisor Molino on the second. Discussion on this item. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Number 5 is a referral from Legislative Rules and Government Ops Committee. Information Technology. Request to amend the table of organization and salary schedule to create and fill the new position of Computer Help Desk Tech 2 temporary. Base annual salary is $53,493, and it's prorated to $25.71 per hour for up to $20,000, effective August 2022. 2022. Yeah. Now, motion to bring to floor Supervisor Molino, second by Supervisor Driscoll. Discussion. Also, is there a funding on this one? Okay. Then it's a funded position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Agenda item number 4, pending items. There's no items this month. Agenda item number 5, privilege of the floor for public comment. Anybody from the board or in the boardroom here, committee room? No? I'll ask Mr. Lehman, is there any public comment?
Hi, Chairman Legan. No, there's nothing on YouTube.
Okay, thank you. I'll take the motion. Oh, yes, Treasurer Swan.
I apologize, this should have been brought up in the personnel meeting, but I didn't think about it until after the meeting was closed. I would like to see the county look into the possibility of hiring and creating the position of an assistant or deputy.
Can you go up to the, yes, for this item here? I think it'd be good for all those out there to be able to hear.
I would like to see the county look into the creation and starting of a position of deputy county administrator or assistant county administrator. And specifically for what's happening right now. And to give you an example, in my department, if something happens to me, a few minor things are going to have a problem, but everything is going to flow. I have that department set up with a deputy treasurer and everything so that the main functions of the county are not going to be disturbed, and they could go for quite a while that way. Having been here now for the second time, we're going through a county administrator leaving. I just think that it might be prudent to look into the possibility of creating a position that if the county administrator leaves, you have a deputy who can step in and take over rather than, and no offense to our chair and vice chair of the board, who could step in and take over the reins of the county on a limited basis. Just a thought.
Thank you. And does that thought, would that be a dedicated position? The deputy, like your deputy is
Yes.
a dedicated position?
Yes.
He's there. Okay.
I mean, I know it's going to cost money, but maybe in the long run, it might be, it also might help with the workload also. So, it's just a thought that came to me while we were sitting there in personnel, that it might be a way to get out of a situation where we were in right now, where one administrator leaves, or God forbid, something happens to that administrator and you need somebody to step in quickly to take care of the business of the county.
Thank you. Thank you, Treasurer Swan. And, on that event, there is continuity of operations plan, isn't there?
There is,
So,
yeah.
okay.
But it's, as I outlined, it's 2 supervisors and then 3 or 4 department heads.
Yeah, so that would be a stronger motion to adjourn. Supervisor Bruno, Supervisor Molino on second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.